Welcome, guys. Wednesday, the 12th of August, 8:04 a.m. We're going to go through the London session. We've got an important day today. We've got CPI. So let's wait and see that this is going to be a real indicator as to where the dollar is going to head because I feel like there's a lot of investors waiting for this to happen. There's a lot of cash out there ready to go. So it should be a pretty big day today. So let's obviously go through our day yesterday. I actually closed out Euro this morning, so that is not too but bad. Yeah, yes, I did well. I probably closed out a bit early, actually, like we did discussed on the boot camp. But you know what? Still happy. I obviously spoke about it in the boot camp yesterday about building your week up. So, we've obviously got this much money to risk. So, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we can almost go all out on our attack. Okay, so today, in regards to news, we've got CPI data is the only thing of interest. OPEC, not really interested. IEA, not really interested. So it's just going to be these here. All right. Now, very, very easy. All right, and I'm imagining this to move pretty huge. So obviously, if inflation comes out hotter, especially hotter than 3.5, I'd say 3.7 to 3.8. Expect obviously dollar to pump. What is going to happen here? All right, this bit of data coming out is basically what the markets are looking at is a bit of a decision, maker on on whether they're going to hold interest rates in September or if they're going to increase them. All right, if they're going to increase them, that's going to strengthen the dollar. So just obviously, yeah, to take that into consideration. If it comes out hotter, dollar flies, right? If it comes out cooler, dollar's going to drop because they've got to hold interest rates where they are, and they've got a few issues, in regards to labor, and obviously rising oil. So it is, yeah, yes, it's going to be worrying. I'm actually expecting it to come out a bit hotter. I'm gonna put my kind of bet on about 3.7 to 3.8. So, but obviously, the US is one of those currencies where it's always out, and obviously that's why it creates this volatility. I always mention this euro always on point. Japan always on point. Pound is a bit hit and miss. Aussie is a bit hit and miss, but the dollar is, yeah, they can be miles out of their data, whether they're less organized or whether they do it on purpose. Who knows, but obviously that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting it to come out slightly hotter. We had a pretty hard July, in regards to obviously escalation, oil prices, labor market. So I'm expecting inflation to come out a bit higher. So right, let's have a look here in regards to what is going to happen today. So stock markets are, relatively not too bad. We've got US 100 up 0.4%. We got SPX 500 up 0.1%, and we got US 30 round about break even. So what does this mean? All right, this just means there's a little bit of risk appetite. All right, so there's less need for a safe haven because obviously there's a little bit of risk appetite. I think gold is had a bit of a lift off here because of yields dropping how they have. But obviously, what we always mention to everyone, what goes up must come down to come back up again, to come back down, to come back up. Remember, things have to come back down to get repriced to collect orders, and then to obviously really have that, next flow. Nothing just goes, straight up. All right, nothing. So, I mean, if you zoom out on yields, they are pretty high. And it's obviously a pretty not worrying because, it's never worrying if yields are, slightly higher, but obviously they are, yeah, they're, slightly higher. So, yeah. Um, right, let's now have a look at the dollar here. All right, in regards to obviously what is happening. Um, dollar didn't do anything yesterday, which was, surprising because it strengthened up against some of the other kind of currencies. But if you look at yesterday, so Tuesday from Tuesday 12, it's just yeah. I'm still expect. I mean, we've had this rectangle, marked out. I would hazard a guess we're going to be trading up here a bit later on, but obviously, we could quite easily, if somehow inflation comes out cooler, we could be trading in this area here. So we really, it's a complete flip of a coin today. So let's wait and see. Um, Right, in regards to our trades today, let's go for the ones that we've stayed away from. Right, pound seems to be holding. All right, but I'm expecting a bit of a drop, and I do like where it is. This might be one that we trade a bit later on, but right now, as a her currency as an economy, it seems like it's clawing back some of that great British pound strength because it is holding but obviously I'd much rather see probably London play out and then a potential drop a bit later. I do think there could be quite a hefty drop on this one, but let's wait and see. Aussie here, staying away from it. Gold strength, it isn't doing bad either. They've already had their interest rate decision that they've held, so there's good data coming out of China. So, you've got to remember what we're trying to do here is pair the kind of weaker currencies or stronger currencies. Like if we were going against the dollar today, it would be Aussie and pound as opposed to euro and yen. So that's obviously one thing that we've got to be aware of here. Is we're always trying to your job in and I haven't drawn these for a while, so why not? Imagine we've got some scales here, yeah, all right, and obviously your job here. So these are our scales, all right. We're going to draw these in. So your job here is to try and tip these, yeah? All right. In whichever way you're trying to, and obviously we've always got the US dollar here, all right? And then we've got either euro, yen, gold, pound, Aussie here, yeah? All right. So our job, whichever way we're going, we've got to pick this one here. All right. So if we're going with the dollar, then we've got to try and then analyze that of Aussie, pound, euro, yen, gold, which, because we pick three, which, three are the weaker ones to try and test these, scales. Or on the opposite, all right, if this one here is the US dollar, we've got more chance of obviously, having having a better chance with our trades if we're going for the, strongest. All right, so that's why that's all you got to do. That's basically FX, explained. Everyone forgets that you are trading one economy, the optimism, the expectation that the current, value against the other one, So it's basically as easy as that, but don't f forget, you're not just trading candles, you're trading economies. All right, so yeah. So we've gone for euro, which I think is just triggered. I've had an alert up. So euro here, had a nice, obviously slow, but I would class this as looking a little bit bearish here. We obviously have had this equal low here, so we obviously need to come out before we're obviously gonna push down potentially, but that's obviously one thing we are looking for here. We're looking for, a nice tail off. I will be closing out early. I don't want any trades open unless we've got stops to break even. But we need a good 20, 30 pips on stop. Excuse me. For us to be happy to pull stops and hold, so because prices can gap. One thing you got to be aware with any broker, price could be trading down here. If CPI just goes whoomp, there's a chance that you might be stopped out up here. All right, even if you're at break even, so and they do that on purpose. Yes, if you got your stops at break even, they should be honored, but it doesn't work like that. So, yeah, euro, I was targeting this cluster here, right? We got a nice cluster of liquidity here, expecting it to drift. I don't think that there's enough this morning for it to drift all this way. So expecting something like this to kind of happen rarely. So I think we are well placed here. Next one, let's do gold last. USDJPY. We're a bit unlucky on this one yesterday because this move happened, and I think our entry was about here. So I was hoping this was going to happen. We've got our, almost looking like those hanging Christmas decorations or icicles, whatever. We've obviously gone back into that realm with USDJPY because, for anyone who likes to trade yen, one thing that you need to understand is that, yields are a big governor. If yields are flying high, yen is going to find it hard. So, yeah, just be aware of that. Um, so that's it. And then last but not least is gold here. Expecting gold just to tail down off into um this area here. We do still have a trending oil. Oil is still trending to the upside here, which is crazy, So I'm going with escalation here, but not crazy, but I want it to come back down. There's some key levels here on gold, which we've got to mark up. All right, everyone should have these marked up. One is 380. All right, 380 is key, because even yesterday it struggled to break through here. So 380 is key. And then obviously you got 400 here, which is the holding really, really strong. All right, really, really strong. So 380 and 400 are our kind of key areas here. Is struggling to break through either of them here. If we look at yesterday, if our trade was placed here yesterday, we'd be chilling. But obviously, yeah, they're pretty important here. So make sure you have these marked up. Asia's been let's have a look at Asia. Yeah, not too bad. It engulfed London yesterday. It's engulfed New York yesterday, so not a bad session. I'm expecting a bit of a slow one. So, Laureen, what do you expect gold to do with the news if it hits 3.7 or 3.8? So, what I'm expecting, I think if it misses, I don't think gold's going to pump up too much. All right. If inflation cools, I don't think gold's going to pump up too much. might do, but if it misses, I'm expecting quite a big hit, especially this. I'd expect if I was to go on a 30 minute, I'd expect this three 4 360 to clean out, and then potentially start targeting these lows here. So something like this. Uh, Potentially might be on the cards because CPI is going to drag up yields. We've also got oil trending higher, and we've got and we have got yeah, that obviously should drag the dollar up too. So that's about it from me. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Happy to answer. Happy to answer. Otherwise, we'll end it here, and we'll yeah, make sure we have a good day today. I did a poll on the lower time frame gold trades. I think everyone wants to keep them. So yeah, let's keep them for a bit longer then. So right, have a great day, and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. So have a good one, team.